I'm Stephen Ganschow, and this is Life in Progress, where we'll spend a few minutes each month talking through the practical ways to grow in the work that God is bringing to completion in each one of us. As a pastor and a counselor, I have found that people come when they're ready to talk, when they're ready to make progress on something. They come ready for change. They come hungry to do something. Sometimes it's because they've realized there's an area of their spiritual life that they want to just improve in. Other times it's because they have a complicated relationship situation. Maybe they're going through a mental or emotional struggle. Other times what it is, honestly, is that people have been battling sin for a long time, and they're honestly ready for some victory over sin in their life. There's a lot of different reasons that people come to a place like this to talk. But as I meet with people individually, and I get into their individual stories and the individual, very particular, very precise things that they bring to work through, I very often find that there is one thing that we all have in common from time to time, those that are struggling and those that are doing really well in their relationship with Christ. And it's that from time to time, our relationship with God when it comes to spiritual disciplines, it begins to struggle. Especially as I meet with people, I found as they go through some of those more precise things, that their relationship with Christ diminishes commensurate to the struggle. And we don't want that for anyone. So over time, I've developed tools, some of which we'll talk about here, but I've developed tools that I give people when they are on a growth trajectory and they're ready for change. Tools like this, anybody can do, whether you're an adult, whether you're a teenager, maybe you're a family and you just want to grow in spiritual disciplines. I've got a bunch of tools, one in particular today that I want to share with you. I call the tool 10 Minutes with God. Very simple, very straightforward, and super accessible. Now here's the thing, I could talk at you this whole time, but I found that when people come into a room like this and they want to talk with someone, it's been a lot easier for me to take people to a whiteboard and actually give them something of an experience. We all learn a lot of different ways. Some of us learn by listening, others of us learn by seeing something. Others, yet, we learn by having something of an experience where people write things down and just kind of show us, not just hear, not just see, but show us some things. So I thought it might be beneficial today if I just showed you how to use the tool 10 Minutes with God. And again, this is going to be really easy, really straightforward. And honestly, what this tool is designed to do is jumpstart someone's relationship with Christ in such a way that then they are confident and comfortable maintaining their relationship with Christ. So the tool itself has got 3 steps and then one kind of pre-game tool that I want to outline for us. The first is the pre-game tool. I call it prioritize. You really only have to prioritize once. And what that means is you're going to go to your calendar and you're going to pick a consistent, prioritized time where you can spend 10 minutes with God. For me, I have found that that time has to be in the morning. It has to be at a time where everything else is blocked out. Maybe I'm not spending as much time thinking about what I'm doing with my kiddos. Anything. It's got to be a time where I'll be a consistent time, really, where I can focus and be focused on these 10 short minutes I'll spend doing these 3 things. Once you've got that prioritized time, you will find it is very difficult to miss it because it becomes part of the flow of your day. That's why, again, priority is key. And you'll, again, really only need to do it 1, maybe 2 times as your schedule ebbs and flows. Once it's prioritized, there are only 3 steps to 10 minutes with God. The first one is listen. Now you might be thinking, why isn't it read? Why aren't you saying read the Bible? I found that the idea of reading the Bible for a lot of people, quite frankly, it can be intimidating. So what I recommend very, very often is you download something like the YouVersion Bible app or another great Bible app that you can get in any app store and listen to the Bible while you read along. And as you do that, you're gonna do it for probably 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a great time. You'll get through a chapter or so, and it'll be enough to immerse you in the text. And if you read along, you'll find that you'll gain more knowledge and insight about it as you go. You'll also find you retain more of what you read. 5 minutes of reading and listening will help you get to understand what it's like to have a rhythm of being in the Bible. And I have found as I've met with people this often turns into more time very, very quickly because they want to experience more time with God. But to get going, to jumpstart your walk with the Lord, 5 minutes is a great place to begin. One of the other things, now that I'm thinking about it too, people will often ask me, where should I start? And that is a very good question. Obviously, the Proverbs are a great place you can start. Personally, I recommend a chronological Bible reading plan. It's what I'm actually doing right now in 2022. A chronological reading plan, what that's going to do is you'll listen and read through the Bible as a story, where you'll understand the beginning, the middle, and the end. You'll also find, for example, where David and others wrote the various psalms and specific passages that interject at various points throughout, for example, the Old Testament. You'll understand in much greater depth what David and others were thinking and feeling as they wrote these passages that we all read at a somewhat frequent basis, or we talk about in church on a frequent basis. So I encourage you, try a chronological reading plan. What I'll do too, now that I'm thinking about it, I'll drop a link in the comments section to my favorite chronological reading plan. That way you have it for yourself and can potentially give it a shot. So after you've read and listened for 5 minutes, the next thing you're going to do is pray for 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Pray for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And how are you going to do that? That's a good question. I found that there are really 3 things that make prayer in a very concise but effective period of time the best that it can be. The first is thankfulness. Thank God for the day. Thank God for the things He's doing in your life. Thank God for the blessings. Honestly, thank God for the trials as well. Throughout the Bible, we're told to give thanks in all circumstances. So thankfulness is a great spot to start. A second thing that I would recommend, and I would argue this is among the more important things that you need to do when you're going to spend this brief time in prayer, is confession. If there's an area of sin in your life, an area of struggle that you need to lay before the Lord, confessing that to God, as 1 John 1:9 says, knowing He's faithful to forgive, will be essential for you to grow in your relationship with Jesus. And then thirdly, I recommend asking. After you've been thankful, after you've confessed, if there's a thing you need to ask God about in your life, that is the point to do it. Make your requests to God, knowing confidently that God hears you and will answer you. So you thank, confess, ask. Thank, confess, ask. And then for the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds, what you're going to do is think. Why think? Because I have found if you spend some time planning your day, if you spend some time considering the activities that you have, the people you're going to talk with at your job, your kids, your spouse, your friends, the people that you're going to see, even the time you're going to spend on the road, knowing you're driving into a traffic jam, for example, you'll find that if you think about it a little bit in advance, you very well make better decisions, have a better attitude, and a host of other things. You may be able to bring some of the things that you listened to bear in your plan for the day. Some of the things that you prayed about, some of the things you asked God about, you very well may find incorporate your way into what you think about, and then how you plan your day for the most biblical, the most godly opportunities to act and look like Jesus. That's where a jump start to your Christian life becomes a lifestyle. And genuinely, that is what we want for you. We want a lifestyle where you love and example the love of Jesus. You love God and you example what it's like to be a Christian. And honestly, these simple steps, Philippians 4, 8, and 9, they remind us God promises results. God promises progress. This is nothing more and nothing less than living out the Bible. Hopefully that's helpful to you. So thanks for joining us for Life in Progress. Be sure to give this a thumbs up on YouTube so you see future comments. Subscribe so that you see things as well. And we'll look forward to joining you next time for another growth.